Mm. Dead
Hello.
air. Dead air.
Like Twitch doesn't say that I'm live yet. Doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
Because I am live, in fact.
Let's see. Am I live? Am I live?
Oh
I
no.
am. Oh.
Oh god. Can you say something?
Hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. It hurts when I pee.
I think it's perfect, yeah.
Okay.
You're live. You're live as well.
Yes.
Alright. Yeah.
Stairway to Cinema, episode 30. We're so amped up, as you can tell.
Yeah, almost an anniversary.
Almost. We'll have to do something special for 50.
First things first. Yeah, right. But I set up an email address for this podcast in case anybody cares to send us some questions or insult us or anything, you know.
Yeah.
Death threats are appreciated.
Hell yeah.
It's stairwaycinema@gmail.com.
Stairway
Because
Cinema Gmail. Okay.
Stairway to Cinema was already taken, which is kind of surprising.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, so what's news in the film industry?
Are you putting that in the links for the podcast itself?
It is in our description, yeah.
Nice.
Martin Scorsese's new movie got financing by Apple. Which is cool because it's nice that he gets the money to do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think like $200 million for a late Western seems kind of a lot.
Awesome though. At the same time, it means you're going to see some quality. You know,
right? I'm curious to how he's using it. I mean, I think Killers of the Flower Moon is one of my most anticipated movies from the near future because Scorsese, De Niro, and DiCaprio.
Yes, yeah. All the world is aligning that day. So
right. I mean, if it just was DiCaprio, it would be exciting enough.
It would still be a draw.
Right.
Yes.
You see him so rarely these days.
De Niro's just like a little extra seasoning there. You know?
Right. Do you have any other film news?
No, not really. I think it's a good idea, a good move by Apple. I think it's a good way to get their foot in the door of something that's meaningful rather than the shows that they have, because none of the shows are really calling out to me at all. I guess they do have a Chris Evans movie that just got posted that looks decent with that kid that you like that played Bill.
Isn't that a short miniseries?
I have no idea. I just saw the preview.
I think it is.
I did watch the preview to Tenet as well.
Oh yeah.
So
what do you think?
Oh yeah, just goosebumps and shit, man. I'm ready to go. I'm just like I said. I'm just like I don't. I can't get excited because I don't know if it's coming out. I just
right.
The world is on fire. Everybody's dying, and I don't know if we're ever gonna go to the theater again.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I still don't quite understand the concept of Tenet, but
reverse time manipulation.
Yeah, did you notice that in every scene the background everything is moving backwards, but
it's really trippy.
The people don't.
Really trippy.
Right. It's very Nolan.
I feel like it's the spiritual successor to Inception. That's why I'm like really amped about this. Yeah. Which you might not like it then. So.
I mean, I like Inception.
You're gonna go in there and you'd be like, man, it was a solid 6.
Inception is a solid 7. So. Yeah. Before we get to the movies I saw, I'm currently working on this list I mentioned last week. My favorite moments in film, which takes a lot of time. So I'm not doing that today. Doing that someday in the future. Not sure yet. But I prepared like a very short quiz for you.
Oh Jesus!
Just, to get in the mood.
All right.
Like to test your character name knowledge. So I have these character names written down, and you have to tell me which actor in which movie it is.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. So let's get cracking.
How many do you have?
Like 15.
15. Okay.
Like not a lot. Just I thought it was a fun thing to, get a chill start to the podcast.
All right, lay it on me. Let's see what you got.
Okay, Jason Dixon.
Oh, Jesus. Jason Dixon.
Yeah, but in the movie, he's mostly just named Dixon.
Dixon. Is it 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri?
Which actor?
Rockwell.
That's correct.
Oh, shit. I pulled that all out of my ass. Oh, my God. All right. I'll take it.
Right. Next one, lucky. James Horner.
See, that's a musical score guy. That really throws me off. James Horner.
Really?
Yeah, he did the Braveheart.
Oh, interesting. But he's also a character in a movie.
James Horner.
Yeah.
I don't know that one. You got
Burt Reynolds in Boogie Nights.
I would not have gotten that.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought it was iconic character.
Iconic, sure, but I didn't remember. I just remember it's just Burt Reynolds to me, not James Horner.
Fair enough.
that's yeah.
All right, this one's easy. Vernita Green.
How the fuck is that easy?
I thought it was easy.
Vernita. Oh, you're the one that wrote it. Vernita Green.
That's true. Yeah.
Who the fuck is Vernita Green? It's not a Harry Potter character.
No. I'll tell you that.
Vernita. Yeah, you got me there again. Jesus.
I'm not sure how to say her name. Vivica A. Fox in Kill Bill.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was easy because Tarantino characters tend to be kind of have memorable names.
For the people that watch these movies 7 times, sure.
True, yeah, and to me, it seems like that. Obviously.
Right.
Next one, Lieutenant Archie Hickox.
Okay. Who the fuck is that? I know that one. That's that.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, that one. The other 2 I had no idea, but this one
rings a bell.
Yeah. Inglourious Bastards, Michael Fassbender.
That's right. I'm surprised. It's kind of impressive.
I knew that.
Richard Winters.
That sounds like a terrible name.
Oh, really? I think it's a cool name, actually.
Dick Winters.
Yeah, that's how he's called sometimes.
I see. Is this another Tarantino film? Can I get a...
No.
Okay.
It's not, but it's an historical figure that actually existed. And it's from a show.
Jesus. You didn't make these easy.
I mean, if it was easy, it would be boring, I guess.
No, I know it. I that one again rings a bell, but that one.
The actor was in a Tarantino movie one time.
That's helpful. Oh, wait a minute. Is it Robert De Niro from Joker?
No.
Fuck! That was another one I was just pulling out of my ass.
Wasn't even named Murray Franklin. I think that's what he's called. Richard Winters is Damian Lewis in Band of Brothers.
Gotcha. For some reason, I was thinking of a fucking... I mean... I was really off there.
That Robert De Niro character is not an historical figure, so...
Right.
Next one. Naomi LaPaglia. Yeah.
I have no idea. I know LaPaglia because of the actor Anthony LaPaglia, but I don't know.
Maybe they're related. I don't know, because it's actually a historical figure again, somewhat.
Yeah, you got me there.
It's Margot Robbie in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Next one, Nyander Wallace.
That's another good one. I don't know why, but that one is... Some of these just tickle you a little bit. Some of them I have no idea, but some of them are tickling. Naomi, what is it? Naran?
Nyanda.
Nyanda.
Or no, Nyander Wallace. I'm not sure how to say it, but
wait a minute.
Spelled Niander. Nyander, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
It's Jared Leto in Blade Runner 2049.
Ooh, okay. There it is.
Okay, this one's might be easy. Frankie Four Fingers.
Frankie Four Fingers. Is that Benicio del Toro in Snatch?
It is.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Next one. I hope you know this one. Mickey Pearson.
Mickey or Nikki?
Mickey.
N?
M.
As in map.
Right.
Mickey.
Mickey Pearson.
Mickey Pearson. Would that be Matthew McConaughey from The Gentleman?
That's right.
Ooh, shit. I only saw it once.
Impressive. Too. Right, yeah. But it's a memorable name, I think. It's a cool name. Next one, Robert Angier. Angier?
That's another good one, I think. I don't know that one, though.
It's a Nolan movie.
Oh, is it? Robert Angier. Shit. Let's go with is it DiCaprio from Inception? Are you fucking with me?
I think that name is Dom Cobb.
Right, Dominic Cobb.
Robert Angier is Hugh Jackman in The Prestige.
Ooh, there it is. What was
next one?
What was Bale's character's name? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know that.
See, if you don't know that,
Alfred something.
If you don't know that, why would you know Hugh Jackman's name there?
Because I looked it up. Next one you'll know for sure.
All right.
Tiffany Maxwell.
Tiffany Maxwell. Who the fuck is Tiffany Maxwell?
Her last name isn't really said in the movie that often, I believe.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Tiffany. Not to be confused with 80s pop star Tiffany.
You should know this, honestly.
She's a one-hit wonder, you know. I should know this.
You should know this.
Oh, I know what it is. Jennifer. What the fuck is her name? Jennifer. Wait a minute.
It's kind of embarrassing, dude.
Wait a minute. I've been up for an hour. All right, you can fuck off. All right. Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Silver Linings Playbook. There you go.
That's right.
I only got it because of the hint. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Even though I literally just watched it.
Next one is Luis Dega.
Luis Dega.
Iconic character.
Is it iconic?
It is, kind of.
I don't know. It's gonna be Benicio Sicario.
No.
Fuck. What is it then? What is
Dustin Hoffman and Papillon.
Oh, I wouldn't have got that.
Okay.
Papillon.
Ellis Boyd Redding.
Ellis Boyd
Redding. It's his full name, but he has a nickname in the movie. But that would have been too easy.
So it's Morgan Freeman, Shawshank Redemption.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's Red.
Yeah.
M. Gustave. Or Monsieur Gustave.
Monsieur Gustave. I think I would. Monsieur Gustave.
Yeah.
All right, you got me on that one. What is that one?
It's Ralph Fiennes in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
It's weird because I kept seeing Ralph Fiennes for some reason. So there you go.
So you knew, kind of.
In a way, yeah.
I think you'll know this one. Alabama Whitman.
Would that be? Oh my God. Oh my god! Hang on a
second. Another one of your favorite movies.
Yes, I know. I'm blanking today on the. Just give me 1 second, please.
Right, I love doing these quizzes with you, dude.
Is it fun?
Kind of, because you're embarrassing yourself sometimes.
This is why I've never gone on embarrassing myself. All right, you need to pump the brakes there. I don't think so. You give me these quiz right when I'm waking up and shit. I haven't had time for to get my mind straight.
Fair enough. I mean, I said sometimes, right?
Embarrassing. This guy wrote down a quiz, looked up all the shit because he didn't remember himself. Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that.
I have a good memory for such things. So
you do, but you already admitted that you looked up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I looked up Hugh Jackman.
The Hugh Jackman one. That is not. I mean, get the fuck out of here. No one remembers his name from The Prestige.
Right.
It's Arquette. I just can't. What the fuck is her name?
It's Patricia Arquette.
Patricia Arquette.
Romance.
Thank you.
Yeah. Eli Cash.
Eli Cash. Paul Dano. There Will Be Blood.
No, that's Eli, but Eli Cash is Owen Wilson in The Royal Tenenbaums.
No, I wouldn't have got that.
Okay. Jill McBain. That's hard, I think.
Jill McBain. I don't know that one at all, man.
That's the girl from Once Upon a Time in the West. I know it was hard. I know. Harmony Faith Lane.
Harmony Faith Lane. Yeah, I don't know that one either.
Michelle Monaghan and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I have.
Well done, I guess.
Thank you.
Well done,
I mean, yeah. Maybe I'll prepare another quiz for next week. I don't know.
Or maybe I'll throw down a quiz for you, and you can.
Would be fun, yeah. But
yeah.
If you make the effort.
Let's see how good you are with, because this is the thing about your quizzes. I'm going to be critical here. This is a critical point here. A lot of your quizzes revolve around movies that you like. So there's a thing there that you need to.
But I mean, I chose Silver Linings and True Romance because
But I know you did that. But at the same time, it's predictable. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, I didn't include Once Upon a Time in Hollywood though, so gotta give me some credit.
No, I know. I just think some of them are a bit reachy,
Fair enough. All right. Did you watch anything? Big question.
I did. I actually watched one movie. So,
interesting.
On Monday, I watched Nocturnal Animals, so it was a rewatch.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I saw it before as soon as it came out because I wanted to see it because it was, kind of down my alley, kind of a movie like that. But my girl, we were actually taking a break from Survivor for a change. That little glimmer of hope. The window was open, and we actually opened the window and watched the movie. Which she actually liked it, which I was happy about because I've always liked the movie. It's kind of a conflicting movie in a way because it has, one ending that I question, and then one ending that is fantastic, that is amazing.
What is it about?
I'm not talking about alternative endings either. There's an ending in the movie that you see, and then an ending at the end, because it tells a story within the story.
Okay.
So the movie. Yeah, the movie's, Amy Adams, she's a fashion, no, not fashion. She's in the art world. And she gets a book in the mail from her ex from way back in the day. So the movie, kind of does flashbacks with him and her, or her and him rather. And then when she starts reading the book, it shows you the story of the book. So that's the movie. But the movie is pretty dark in itself. The acting is really, really good. I like the story. I just the thing for me about the movie is the very end. The very ending, I think, is one of the best endings. It just depends on how you look at it, though, because this movie was kind of personal in a way to me because I don't know if you've ever felt rejection, if you've ever wanted to, revenge, I guess is a good word. I mean,
I don't know.
It's a revenge without violence, like,
right. Okay.
to overcome what you need to overcome type of thing. But it's not an uplifting thing at all. It's very reminiscent of The Gift, which I've told you about as well, the Joel Edgerton movie.
Mm.
I'll give the edge to The Gift because the Gift is fucking dark and very sinister in a way. Well, it's sinister, period. But Nocturnal Animals is a fine film that I think people can discuss because there's like parts of it that are, I'd give it like an 8, like an 8.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it anything higher than that because there's things in it that I don't, I've spoke on it before, but Aaron Taylor Johnson's, he overacts a little bit to me. So, although he's good in this movie though, I think he's better in this than he was in Outlaw King.
I thought he was fine now looking though.
Outlaw King, he kind of took me out. I even mentioned it during that episode that he was. There's some scenes where I just felt like he overdid it.
Yeah,
like
maybe a little too much. Yeah.
Like his berserker shit was just. It just didn't. It didn't pull it off for me. That's all I'm saying. Like I've seen better moments of berserk than Aaron Taylor. Aaron Taylor plays a scuzzy fucker in this. Now he does a good job of that, but he's just. I don't know. I feel like the dude has a ways to go. That's like a minor thing though, because he's a minor character. Michael Shannon in this, who was nominated for this, is great in this. But I think Michael Shannon's great in everything.
That's true. Isn't also Gyllenhaal in it?
Yeah, and this is a Gyllenhaal movie that I like him in too. So
okay.
And Amy Adams, it's kind of a different role for her, but Amy Adams is good in everything.
True.
So. I'd put that on a recommendal,
That movie has been on my watch list for so long, and I think it was on Prime like a few years ago, and I started it, but I watched like 5 minutes, and that's it. Not because it was bad or anything, like Well,
like it has
you can't tell if it's bad, but
the opening sequence turns a lot of people off. So
like that's the one with a guy who gets thrown, like people throw tomatoes at him and shit.
I don't know what movie you're talking about, but this movie starts off with a bunch of overweight ladies dancing naked.
Oh.
And it's the art exhibit. It's actually the art exhibit.
Oh yeah, I think right.
Yeah.
That's somewhat what I had in mind. Okay.
Back when I was working, I used to get movies for one of my coworkers, and I gave her this movie. And she came back the next day and said, I couldn't watch it. Are you trying to give me a pornography movie? And I explained to her that it was an art installation, that they show you after the credits. You know what I mean? Like, get a grip. And
art can be weird.
She couldn't get past it. Yeah, it's the weird art world, okay? Not the art world that you and I would probably rather be a part of. The weirdies, man. The people that, do enemas and just splatter it all over the canvas and sell it for $15,000,
Right.
That does exist, people. That does exist. I'm just saying.
I believe you.
Do that. Yeah. So.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. I already told you I didn't watch as much as I usually watch.
So you only watched 15 instead of 20, or?
No, I mean, last week was like 23, but that was because we had 2 weeks in advance.
Right.
And like usually I'm around 11 movies, I think.
Yeah, your average is like 10, I feel like.
Yeah, right. And like this week is 8, which is still like I had to push myself, but like, I still made it to an 8 and 2 rewatches. But some interesting stuff. So from worst to best, as always, I watched a movie. Like there's nothing really terrible this week.
That's good.
But like the
rewatches
though? 2.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's good.
Yeah, right. I watched some new stuff, interesting shit. The first movie I watched, like the worst movie I watched, it's not a bad movie, but I didn't enjoy it. That's the thing. It's Richard III from 1995, a Shakespeare adaptation of Richard III, with Ian McKellen, Robert Downey Jr., and Annette Bening. And it's the classic Shakespearean play about the murderously scheming 15th century king. It's reimagined in an alternate history setting of the 1930s with an emerging fascist system. So it's like alternate history shit.
That's a common thing with Shakespeare movies, as we come to know. Yeah,
and I thought it was interesting, like this almost World War II setting just totally changed, like fascism in England. And Ian McKellen is like this evil dude who wants to seize power. And it's a good performance. He's almost unrecognizable for me because, like, mainly I know him as Gandalf, of course, you know.
Right.
And even as a villain like Magneto, I never really thought he was like an evil guy as Magneto, right? Here
he's justified. He's justified as Magneto.
Right.
He's trying to help his people, you know.
In this one, he's just like insane and like very despicable. So yeah, like very unlikable character. And he's younger because like I only know Ian McKellen as an old man, right? So it's kind of weird to see him with short hair and not gray hair and shit. That was interesting. Robert Downey Jr. is sadly barely in the film.
Real small role.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing for me, they talk in this artsy Shakespearean way, very theatrical, and I just can't stand that. Like that was also the problem for me with Macbeth, which is a visually stunning movie. But I just don't like that way of talking. Like the dialogues just aren't fun to me that way. Like I would have liked this movie a lot more if they just talk normal.
Do you feel the same about the Romeo and Juliet DiCaprio movie then as well?
I've never seen that.
Oh, I'll be curious to see what you think about that.
They also talk like that in that one.
Yes, but it's.
I think it's kind of annoying. Like I like natural dialogue, you know.
But if you're a Shakespeare fan, though, see, this is the problem.
I'm not.
These are for Shakespeare people. I love William Shakespeare, so you know. It's gonna be if you don't like Shakespeare, you're not gonna like it, which I totally get.
Have you seen Richard III?
Long time, like 96. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, like the movie is made very well. The production design is good. The costumes are good. Also has some decent war scenes. Like, look kind of impressive. My highlight of the movie is a really stupid thing, but that's kind of my thing. The final sequence takes place at the Battersea Power Station, which is the album cover of Pink Floyd's Animals. That's a small thing, but I kind of like that, you know? It was kind of like a reference for me when I was like, yeah, cool, I noticed that. You know, it's in the film, but yeah. Overall, I didn't really enjoy this movie. Like, after like 15 minutes, I wanted it to be over, and I just pulled through. I wouldn't say it's not generally a bad movie, it's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who love stuff like this, especially because it has like 7.5 on IMDb. But pretty high. Not my thing.
Pretty high.
That's true.
Yeah, I think Shakespeare is something that you either enjoy or you don't, like right off the bat. Because I even remember in school just like day one going into Romeo and Juliet and then Hamlet and all that shit and Macbeth and all that stuff. And I remember the kids around me like they didn't enjoy it, but I always loved it. I think it. I don't know. I think it's one of those things that should still be taught. I think at least appreciated in a way for the guy that cranked that shit out back in the day.
I mean, the stories are great. I think.
Yeah, the stories themselves are very good. It's the problem is that you find yourself. I mean, I can read it and not have to like stop and interpret shit like so much. But at the time, when I was learning how to read Shakespeare and how to keep up with it, it was it's different. It's very different. My favorite is the Julius Caesar. I love Julius Caesar. It's fantastic.
I think I never read Shakespeare. Like, of course, I mean, obviously in Germany we have German books in school, right?
Right.
So I don't know. It's just not my thing. I don't like classic literature that much. So
yeah. I can understand that because it's dated and
Anyway, moving on. I tried to watch some of the movies I had on DVD and Blu-ray because I tend to just I buy a lot of movies and never see them. It's stupid. I mean, I still have Traffic and Revolutionary Road and What's Eating Gilbert Grape and that shit. I have that on DVD, but I never see it.
All heavy movies, though. All heavy movies.
Right.
So,
but I mean, I actually canceled my subscription to Netflix and Disney and shit just so I can get to all those movies.
Okay, all right.
So I finally watched my Blu-ray of High Plains Drifter from 1973, Western revenge movie with and by Clint Eastwood.
The Eastwood.
The Eastwood, yeah. A gunfighting stranger comes to the small settlement of Lago and is hired to bring the townsfolk together in an attempt to hold off 3 outlaws who are on their way. You know, I'm a Western guy. I like stuff like this.
Yeah.
But this movie really didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because it doesn't have the Morricone score, you know? Because that really helps a movie like this. The story is just Western average. Nothing surprising. Like have you ever seen this?
I watched all of these, like all Eastwood movies, like when I was a kid with my dad I remember High Plains Drifter not being one of my favorites either. The one that I would point to, other than the Sergio Leone, is The Outlaw Josie Wales. That's the movie that I think is the best, other than Unforgiven. Is up there. Other than
Unforgiven.
Yeah, it's very different, but it's still Western. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though it's a different type of Western, because these Westerns all were standoffs and shit like that. But High Plains Drifter is just okay. It's not. Yeah, like, it's just okay.
The story is very simple, and there's this like kind of big reveal in the middle of the movie, and it was just super obvious. And like there was just nothing surprising or outstanding. Visually, it's all right. Like, it doesn't look too bad and shit. Especially like the Blu-ray quality was good for a movie from the 70s. Like, Eastwood is fine. The other actors were kind of, I don't know, it was okay. It's really just an okay film. There's nothing spectacular about it. There's not much action, and I expected a rough, fun Western.
Yeah,
and this is very slow paced and not that violent as I thought. But you can clearly see that Eastwood took some inspirations from the movies he did with Leone. Like, this is more of an Italo-Western than it's an American Western.
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to mimic it a little bit.
Maybe. But yeah, it wasn't really. It's not bad, but I don't think I'll watch it again.
It's one of his first movies too. It's like his second movie.
So, speaking of first movies, I told you last week that I bought some movies by Rodriguez.
Oh yes,
I watched El Mariachi from 1992, gangster movie by Robert Rodriguez.
Made for $5,000.
$7,000, like it's between 5 or 7. Right. A traveling mariachi is mistaken for a murderous criminal and must hide from a gang bent on killing him. This movie is so interesting, I think, because it only costs up to $7,000, and like, that is literally nothing in the film industry. So,
especially then,
right? And Rodriguez makes a movie that feels more expensive than that. Like, he really pulls it off. It has some legit qualities. The editing is probably the best thing about it, because it's very creative. Like, some camera movements and shit, and it's very fast. The movie is fast paced. It's always entertaining. I felt like there's no it was never boring.
The story has a good flow to it,
right? And also I don't know, it's a well-made movie. You can clearly see that Rodriguez had talent, you know. And to be fair, it still looks like a very low budget movie.
Oh, but, yeah, for sure.
That didn't really hurt it for me. Like, just knowing the fact that it cost $7,000 makes it really impressive, because I would say this looks more like a $100,000 movie, you know?
I think it's good for film people like you and I that know the story behind it. The fact that how much it costs. I think if you were to watch it without knowing that, you might think a little bit of it's a little cheesy, you know, and stuff like that. Even though I remember I liked I had to scroll on IMDb. I'm not pulling this out of my ass, but the guy that played Mauricio, the bad guy.
Oh yeah,
I liked the bad guy. I remember. I thought he was.
I also liked the main character a lot.
Yes,
he was likable and shit. Like, also the girl he's doing things with. I don't know. Like, all the characters were fun. I didn't expect that. It's surprisingly engaging, even though it's a simple story. And yeah, it was good fun, good movie. I'm actually, I haven't seen Desperado yet, but I have Desperado, so I'm excited for that one.
I hope you enjoy Desperado, because I love Desperado. Did you see From Dusk Till Dawn?
I have, yeah. I saw that.
Did you enjoy From Dusk Till Dawn?
I did, because I know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Again, probably if you don't, like, I knew that it was eventually going to be about, like, vampires and shit. Like, if you don't know that might come as a weird surprise in the movie, but
I think
I knew I was into it.
I think Robert Rodriguez has such a talent, and he's very unique, but he just makes, he makes some shit that you just do not want to watch.
Especially lately.
Yeah, and just announced this machete kills in space. It's just, like, come on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. I heard that Machete already wasn't that good, and Machete Kills is like shit.
Even though I did like Alita, which I know we're, on opposite sides.
Yeah, but that doesn't... Alita doesn't really feel like a Rodriguez movie.
It does not. I will totally give you that. All. Now, will you and I make it to 2115 to see 100 years? Do you think we can we'll be able to make it that long?
I don't think so.
That's so weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Moving on. I finally watched a movie that I was very excited about. When I first heard about this, I was hyped. Trailer looked good. The cast includes some of my absolute favorite actors. I rented for $5. I rented Motherless Brooklyn from 2019.
Okay.
A noir detective movie by Edward Norton with himself, Bruce Willis, Alec Baldwin, and Willem Dafoe.
You were very hyped when
I was very hyped. And then soon after it came out, it didn't receive like the best reviews, so I lowered my expectations. And I lost my hype completely. So it's in the 1950s New York, lonely private detective afflicted with Tourette's syndrome ventures to solve the mystery of his mentor and only friend. Like, as I said, I completely lost my hype, but when I saw that it was rentable, I just thought, why not?
Yeah.
So actually, like, I expected it to be kind of bad because of all the bad criticism it got, but it's not bad. It's not great. Like, it's not as great as I hoped for when I first heard about it, but it's a decent movie, and Norton clearly has some talent as a director.
Only his second movie, right? The second movie,
right?
Yeah.
He did like a rom-com or something back in the 2000s.
I remember that movie.
Is it good?
Keeping the Faith.
Is it good?
It's okay. I mean, it's a fucking rom-com, though. I mean, yeah, right. I guess I don't know if I would recommend it. It's got Ben Stiller. That's about all I can say for it.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna Elfman at that time was, kind of a big deal. Not a big deal, but she was around. She had a TV show. So, sorry, I'm not trying to get you away from the Motherless Brooklyn here.
Motherless Brooklyn. Actually, no, the title makes sense.
I've always hated this title.
I know, but like the Bruce Willis is playing his mentor, and he's just always calling him Brooklyn, and he's an orphan, so it kind of makes sense,
Oh, I see.
But it's also like metaphor for New York. Yeah, it's
I see what they're trying to do there.
Title.
Yeah.
So the movie it has a quality look to it. I like the 50s aesthetic. It looked kind of like very decent. I like the cars and shit. It was convincing setting. The dialogues are presented well. So it's a quality film. But some people mentioned that, like, I read some reviews and some people said that it lacks personality, and I kind of get that. Like, the movie could have had more soul, right? I mean, a detective with Tourette's syndrome is very interesting.
I agree.
But it's not always convincing. Like, Norton portrays the tics he has very well. Like, when he has tics, it's good, Mm-hmm. Fun fact, in Germany, we have a YouTube channel, which is very big, with a guy who has Tourette's syndrome. So I kind of know what it looks like, right?
There's a girl that has a Tourette's syndrome channel in the U.S. as well. But I'm very familiar with Tourette's because I think I've told you I used to work in a special needs clinic for kids.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a couple Tourette's kiddos that used to come in, and it's a very interesting syndrome. Very interesting.
It also probably varies from person to person.
Yes.
But in case of the guy in Germany who has it, like the YouTuber guy, he has tics like every 10 to 20 seconds, like a lot,
Mm-hmm.
And it just threw me off that like Norton in this movie, sometimes for a long period of time, he doesn't have any tics, probably to not break the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not like sometimes I noticed that there wasn't a tic for minutes. Just to not like make the scene weird or something, and just that those things just don't make it convincing. I think it's not a bad performance though. It's like I think like the way he did the tics was very very good, very authentic. But yeah,
don't you think he should have cast someone with Tourette's though, Amon? Don't you think?
No. Come on,
people aren't allowed to act anymore. God damn it!
I think with Tourette's it would have been way harder.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, Bruce Willis is barely in the film, but I still enjoyed him being there because, like for obvious reasons, I always like it when Willis is in a movie that's not shit these days.
More Than Glass. More Than Glass. Did he? I mean, did he show up? Does he act?
No.
Does he look like he's like?
Not really.
Oh my god!
Like he is the guy who gets murdered. Like. He's the mentor of Ed Norton's character, and he's murdered, and that's the case. So he's just like there for 10 or 15 minutes. But I mean, he wasn't bad. I thought it was like, I mean, yeah, I always like it when he's not in like some shitty action movie.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin was fine. Also not that much screen time. Most compelling was Willem Dafoe. Like that was a good performance. Like surprisingly, I mean, of course, Willem Dafoe is always great, but it was like he really put some effort in. I feel like
he showed up at least, not like the others.
Yeah, right. I mean, Alec Baldwin was also not bad, but yeah, Bruce Willis kind of just showed up.
Yeah, but Alec Baldwin is one of those guys that's not, even though he's in one of my favorite scenes of all time,
Glengarry
Glen Ross scene. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing, that performance. But at the same time, I don't consider him top tier, amazing actor. He's got he's a great character actor though. I love his character. I love the way
he has a good voice.
His voice, his presence. He has great presence on fucking camera.
True.
And he's very funny. Like he's very very funny, which I really like. Like the way he kind of crept into the being comedic, I really like. But as far as like, measuring up to Dafoe, for instance. I mean,
right.
There's no way.
Alec Baldwin will never win an Oscar.
Or Edward Norton, for that matter,
Oh, yeah, right. Also, Baldwin, he kind of plays like a caricature in this one. Like the evil man. It's not super deep. The movie is very long, like 2.5 hours. It's very slow. And actually, like, it's without any action. Like, there's one action scene. It's not that long. And but somehow it manages to not be boring. I like the story. It was interesting. But I gotta admit, it's not a super memorable movie. And that's kind of so overall I would say I like this movie, but it's a 6 out of 10, It's like
someone gave it a 10 out of 10. A tight and gripping movie.
Yeah, I mean, probably for some people this is the shit. But for me, it's just kind of a disappointment because I see the potential that was there. Like, as I said, I was super hyped before this came out because it looked very good. But in the end, it's just not like a memorable movie.
That's too bad then.
Yeah.
Because I know you were hyped on this, and I know Norton's one of your, one to watch.
Because
I feel like he's not doing as much as he used to, too. He's being very... coy about his roles. So
the thing is, Norton only shows up like once every 2 to 3 years. Like he's not in a lot really, and so it's always cool to see him in the movie. Well, I guess I'll just have to wait for the French Dispatch.
Alita, he didn't really
Oh yeah, it was kind of a cameo.
Well, it wasn't a payoff for you, but Birdman, I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, Birdman was his last really good performance. I think like between Birdman and Alita. What? Oh, he was voice acting in Isle of Dogs, but you know that doesn't really count.
Collateral Beauty. What is?
Yeah, I heard that's not that good.
That doesn't. Yeah, I mean, Will.
There's a meta score of like 23.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, but we're all connected. I mean, that's what the tagline is. Oh man, I gotta see this.
Right. So I think I once mentioned that I have kind of a pattern for movie watching. Like El Mariachi was my foreign movie this week, and my classic this week. I mean, I watched a few classics actually, but my classic is A Bridge Too Far from 1977, a war movie by Richard Attenborough.
Is it the Sean Connery movie?
Yeah, but it's an all-star cast. It is
big like, all-star cast, yeah.
Yeah, like for somebody like me who likes all those old actors, it was great. Sean Connery, Michael Caine, James Caan, Robert Redford, Anthony Hopkins, Gene Hackman, and also some people I only know from Indiana Jones. Like Brody from Indiana Jones was in it in a small role, and also that Nazi officer from the third movie was in it. So that was amazing. Like the
James
cast,
Caan is in this too. James Caan, weird.
James Caan is great. So it's about Operation Market Garden, September 1944. The Allies attempt to capture several strategically important bridges in the Netherlands, and they hope that with that they break the German lines. And it feels very accurate, this movie, and it is actually, because afterwards there's this channel on YouTube called History Buffs, who does videos on historical movies, and I watched his analysis of it, and it's very well done history. It's like very correct in its depiction, and you follow multiple people on multiple occasions on the operation, and since they like not everybody gets super, like they don't get a lot of characterization, so it's good to have well-known actors that you already like, you know. So you can kind of root for them. But dude, the production value is just insane. The parachuting scenes, the tank battle, they all shot it for real and it looks stunning. Spectacular.
Because it's practical. Yeah.
Right. It's all and dude, they just blew up a whole forest. And they did it. It looked like huge explosions and super well done. Like, yeah, lots of extras. This is one of those historical epics, and I like those movies because I don't think they get made anymore these days. Something like this.
Anthony Hopkins is in this. Did you say Anthony Hopkins?
Yeah, I did. Gene Hackman plays the pole.
Fucking Robert Redford is in this.
Small role, yeah.
Denholm Elliott. You got fucking Elliot Gould in this, which I really like. I'm a Elliot Gould fan. Wow.
It's
and Laurence Olivier. Laurence Olivier is in this. You know,
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Laurence Olivier?
No, I just named all the ones I knew, which is already a lot.
Look who's embarrassing themselves now. You know.
Come on. Actually, like they all don't get that much screen time. I think the most screen time has probably Hopkins and Sean Connery. Like Gene Hackman and Redford and James Caan, they're all not that much in the movie.
This is after French Connection too.
It is. Yeah.
That's a lot of people, man. That is a big fucking cast for that time.
Especially like Redford in the 70s was the shit, you know, big actor. James Caan just did The Godfather, big actor, right? Gene Hackman just won the Oscar. You know, it's just like, it's a great cast. Fantastic. And Sean Connery is always the man. And same with this one, as I said with Motherless Brooklyn. It's a very long movie. It's almost 3 hours, but it doesn't feel boring at all.
How long was Motherless Brooklyn?
2 hours 30.
Ooh,
I think. But yeah, these long movies that are still engaging, I love them.
Yeah, but these epics though, I mean, that's a different thing. Yeah.
One thing I just would have liked some gore, some violence.
Rated nice. PG for the time.
Yeah, it's not very bloody. But people explode and shit. Like it's cool.
But 77 though, that's past the being corny and shit. So we get good acting in this, I assume.
Yes.
That's good.
And at the point at like 1977, I think it was the most expensive movie ever at that point. Cost like 26 million.
Damn.
Yeah, which is not a lot these days, but like I mean,
no. That's an independent movie these days.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So from one classic to another, I rewatched another Western with Clint Eastwood. I rewatched A Fistful of Dollars because this Fistful of Dollars and A Bridge Too Far are both on YouTube in 1080p, which is great.
Okay.
So yeah, I rewatched A Fistful of Dollars after a few years. Italo Western from 1964 by Sergio Leone. And I mean, this movie really started a genre.
I love the first one. I love Fistful of Dollars. Yeah.
Like this movie is so influential that basically, like, I mean, of course, this and the other ones by Sergio Leone. Because of that, Clint Eastwood is the Western hero today, and Morricone's score is the Western music. I mean, before Italo Westerns, Western music was totally different.
Here's a good question though, too. Like, if Leone doesn't have Morricone there, Morricone, however you say it,
yeah,
is it as special? You think? Because the music is so fucking good.
Right. I asked myself that same question when I watched it. I think Morricone's role is like, it's essential.
Yes. Yeah. Essential is a good word.
It's like without the music, it wouldn't be the same. It's just, I don't know. Like the story is good too. It's about this guy who's like arriving at a town and he plays two rival families against each other, and it's very cool. And there's some nice stuff happening, but I think the music helps a lot to create epic scenes and just a great feeling overall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this movie is sometimes a little wacky. Like this Mexican gangster boss is kind of over the top sometimes, but I don't think that hurts it. It's not bad.
It says director Sergio Leone as Bob Robertson. Did he have a secondary name for America? I bet Bob Robertson. That's so hilarious.
Dude, for me, Leone is one of those. There are not a lot. I think he's one of those larger than life directors for me.
Special.
Like it's just like how naturally he made one masterpiece after another. It's just unbelievable to me.
I feel like he set the tone for the genre too, for the
totally.
Western.
Like I mean, Fistful of Dollars totally started the Italo Western genre, and yeah, it's great.
Fistful of Dollars. You need to have. I don't know. Like it set the tone for like. The I don't know, the big, I mean, there were standoffs in other movies. I can't say that there wasn't. Obviously there were standoffs, but the way he did it.
Yeah.
The way he did it was, cause I mean, you even
close-ups.
Now you have been playing Red Dead still, right?
Or yeah.
I mean, you see like how much influence that they took for,
right. Like the soundtrack of Red Dead is just like
a Morricone score.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it sounds like an Italo Western score by Morricone.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's cool.
So huge influence. And I mean, I have to say that Fistful of Dollars is an exact remake of Yojimbo by Kurosawa, but it's a good remake. I don't think it's not a cheap remake, right?
Well, when you take a remake and you put it in a different place, like it's not a samurai movie, it's a Western.
It's an Americanized version, basically.
Yeah, but I think it's more respectable not to remake a movie, shot for shot. And rather than do it in a different style, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think you see what I'm saying. Like, just to have it in a different setting, I think is more respectable. So,
true.
Kind of like George Lucas with New Hope. You know what I mean? Like the same thing. Yeah. Was it Hidden Fortress?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much an identical story, but I mean he put it in space, a little different, and I think that's a good way to do it. good way to do it. If you're going to pay a homage like that.
All right, you got to be respectful. I think when you do a remake, you have to love the original.
So. I would say Sergio Leone, though, is to Western that Hitchcock is to thriller.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Next one. I told you I bought this movie. I watched Misery from 1990.
Oh, here we go.
A thriller with Kathy Bates, again, James Caan.
Here we go.
Richard Farnsworth, the guy from The Straight Story.
Did you know anything about this story?
I knew the plot. Yeah, I knew this. I knew the famous scene with the hammer. Yeah.
You see it in a lot of it's a famous scene.
Yeah, also like this is the scene that people talk about when they discuss this movie. So I knew about it, but that didn't take anything away from it. I still enjoyed this movie. So after a famous author is rescued from a car crash by a fan of his novels,
Paul Sheldon.
Right, Paul Sheldon. He comes to realize that the care he is receiving is only the beginning of a nightmare of captivity and abuse. You might notice that I took all those summaries from IMDb this time because I'm lazy. Anyway,
it's okay.
Dude, this movie was great. Kathy Bates is absolutely amazing. Like I think she deserved the Oscar for sure.
Absolutely,
it's amazing villain performance. But dude, I also really like James Caan.
Yeah,
because this movie is surprisingly funny, and James Caan with his sarcastic attitude, he reminded me of Dennis Hopper in the True Romance scene, kind of. Also from his looks, he kind of looks like him a little, you know.
He adds a lot of levity in the movie, you know, that you kind of need because otherwise it would just be really, really dark. You know?
Right. I think this comedic tone really helps it to make it as fun as it is.
Agreed.
And it has some really, really intense scenes that are hard to watch. You know, the scene with the hammer, as I said, and shit. And dude, like even that I knew those scenes before, it doesn't matter. It still worked. So, like, I mean, in the past, I watched some movies where I was spoiled beforehand. I knew the twist of Fight Club and Sixth Sense, but that didn't make the movie any worse for me.
Which is good.
So I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm immune to spoilers, but I don't think spoilers are as important.
I'm very opposite of that. I hate spoilers to it.
Oh, really?
If you spoil something for me, I will not talk to you. I hate that shit.
Because I can see that. Yeah.
I've had 2 movies spoiled for me in my day, and I just fucking.
Which ones?
One of them was stupid, but you know.
Tell me.
City of Angels with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan.
Right.
It's a decent movie. It's a decent movie, but knowing what happens at the end is a bummer. It's a bummer.
Right.
And The Village got spoiled for me. Which,
for me too, and I haven't even watched it yet.
Yeah, and that's a bummer because if you're watching that movie and if you're like in it, you know, and you know what I mean by in it, you know, when you're locked in and you had that spoiled for you where you already know, it just kind of takes it away a little bit. But I don't know. It's good that you can get past that. I'm definitely the opposite. Like, I hate that shit with a fucking passion.
Right. Ideally, I would not like. I don't like spoilers as well. Like, ideally, I would know nothing about a movie before I watch it. But from my experience, it never really hurt my watching experience.
I got into a huge fight with a kid on Facebook one time because he spoiled like a bunch of shit of like the previous night's episode of Game of Thrones, you know?
Right. Like those people who actually just want to spoil the fun for other people. Those are just assholes. Like that. Don't do that ever.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
But like if somebody chooses to read the story before he watches the movie or something, you know, I mean, that's his choice. So I don't know.
Yeah. His whole defense was like, well, everyone's going to die anyway. It's like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. That's just like, yeah. Right.
Anyway.
Back to Misery. I think this movie works for everybody. It's just short, very good fun.
Like, yeah, it's weird how it's fun, isn't it? Like it's kind of fucking very
without
sinister.
The comedy, it could have been so dark and like intense. I mean, it is intense, but not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say the book is. This is one of those movies too that really nails the book. There's a lot of
King, right? Didn't mention that.
Yeah, a lot of Stephen King shit out there that just does not hold up to his work as an author and as a writer. And this is one that actually does. except for the fact that it a little bit more violent in the book, a little bit more violent, but the humor was there because Stephen King is like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's what Stephen King does a lot. People don't really realize is he writes a lot about writers, and he's really writing about himself much of the time. But I think he crafted an awesome tale that deserves to like be spoke about in terms of a creation standpoint of like, this is your creation. You can do with it what you want. And it was his choice to kill Misery, and the fan couldn't let it go, which I think is, I don't know, man. I just think it's one of his best stories he ever fucking wrote.
It's very clever, yeah.
Yeah, very clever. Yes.
I think I should. I never wrote King's novels. I think I should, but I'm not much of a reader anyway. So yeah. What would be right? That's the thing. I would listen to an audiobook. What would you say is a good King novel to start with?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I mean, I like his original work, Salem's Lot, but it's a very slow burn of a book. Misery's a fantastic book to read because it's contained. It doesn't have anything to do with the Dark Tower or anything like that. I'm really the wrong person to ask because I'm going to lead you down. I'm going to lead you down the path of the Tower because the Dark Tower is the greatest fucking story ever written. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last movie on this list. I rewatched kind of a Western last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's by Paul Thomas Anderson with Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano. I watched There Will Be Blood.
I've heard of this. Is this any good?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you like Daniel Day-Lewis. It's all right. You know?
It's kind of a small indie, low-budget movie.
I couldn't get into it. It's a little slow. Something about milkshakes? Not really for me. It's not really for me.
So it's a story of family, religion, hatred, oil, and madness, focusing on a turn-of-the-century prospector in the early days of the business, which is, I think, a very unique story because I've never seen another movie that is about an oil man anywhere. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, probably there is, but like this late Western about oil, so unique, I think.
Well, it's like something that you wouldn't suspect yourself to be interested in until you actually sitting there watching it, and you're like, man, this is kind of interesting, this oil shit.
Oh boy. I saw this movie the first time like 4 years ago or something, and it was about time to rewatch it because I think I just wasn't mature enough. Like I just didn't get it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, I think like was about time to rewatch it finally. And it was a great rewatch because I think, I'm just going to say it right away, I think this movie is perfect.
I agree.
Like objectively perfect. Not everybody will like it, and that's fine.
You won't have any disagreements here for this.
Right. Movie. This is a goddamn masterpiece. Like, I mean, I rated it 9 out of 10 now because, like, I mean, sure, I might watch it again someday and shit because I still think Boogie Nights is better. But this is I like Boogie Nights more, but this is the better movie.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, I mean, Boogie Nights is a bit of a funner ride,
Yeah, right. But this movie is so good. Daniel Day-Lewis, who I think he might be the best actor of all time. Who knows? He gives one of the best performances ever put to screen. Like Daniel Plainview is such a highly interesting character. Fascinating. Like you kind of root for him, even though he's a total asshole.
This is my son, HW.
And already I knew after like the first 15 minutes, already brilliant. No dialogue, and it perfectly shows you what kind of person Plainview is. It was like I was into it, and the dialogues are amazing. Paul Thomas Anderson's script writing is really good. Like it's very impressive how he writes those movies himself.
Which we like. We both love that.
Right, yeah.
That's the ultimate creator right there. That's the big dick on set.
As I said before, I think that Paul Thomas Anderson might be like the modern Kubrick because he's one of those masters.
Yeah, and I could see people not enjoying his work. So that is a great analogy there that I would say is a parallel. Good parallel would be him and Kubrick is very good.
I mean, we too, we don't enjoy all of his movies. We said before, The Master is not, our cup of tea.
Not something that we would want to watch again, but The Master is such a mindfuck because all three performances are so incredible,
I think The Master has the qualities of There Will Be Blood as well. Like, it has some of the same vibes of, right. Yeah. It also feels like kind of a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
It was close. It was very close.
Right, yeah. But dude, like, this movie, the cinematography is outstanding. Like, some of the images are so insane, I will never forget them, I think. Like, the burning oil tower and plain view with just oil in his face with this crazed look. It's so good. The score is really intense and thrilling. That's something I didn't remember.
And I believe that was one of the Radiohead guys that did that.
I'm really?
Pretty sure. Yeah. I think.
There's some violence in this movie, but it's not like show off violence. It feels very realistic and cold in the way it's shown.
Yeah, I like violence like that. Like violence when it just kind of happens.
Yeah, it also doesn't focus the camera on it all the time. When this guy is just like down the well and it gets hit by some metal shit that's falling down, like you don't really see it, but you kind of still do.
You fucking feel it.
Oh yes. And so, like, this movie has some scenes that will make my favorite moments list when I finally do it. Like the Plainview confessing his sins in the church. Like, that is some of the best acting I've ever seen. The I drink your milkshake scene, of course. And also all the things like the storyline with his alleged brother who's suddenly appearing. It's so good. Love it.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
What?
Do you think there was a brother, or do you think it was just one person?
I mean, he tells him the story that he took, like, he was traveling with Plainview's brother who died, and he just took all of his diaries and shit and took his identity, basically.
Yeah,
and then he gets fucking murdered. Right?
I love that. I love that scene though when he meets him and he's like,
yeah,
there's that tension between he's like, what the hell, Like,
but it's also just kind of nice when he meets his brother and they kind of, they kind of understand each other in a way. It's kind of nice, and then like the turnout is very dark. And also, dude, the thing with his son is very, very rough.
By the way, they just to go back, the composer Johnny Greenwood is the guitarist from Radiohead. He has composed The Master and Phantom Thread as well.
Oh, so, actually, I would be interested in rewatching the Phantom Thread.
Just to, I'd like to see it because I haven't watched it yet because I've heard such mixed shit. Not necessarily because of that. I don't base my shit on that. I'm not saying that. It's just like I just haven't it hasn't clicked. Like, oh, I need to watch the Phantom Thread.
Right. Like sometimes you need like something that pushes you to really watch it. With The Bridge Too Far, it's been on my YouTube list for months. But the thing that actually triggered me watching it was that I saw Misery and I like James Caan so much so I thought, why not watch A Bridge Too Far if he's in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, now that I saw all the Paul Thomas Anderson movies and I really appreciate him as a director, I really would like to rewatch a Phantom Thread because I saw that before I knew Anderson as a director.
Yeah, something about James Caan too. Let's not forget, that's fucking Sonny. All right, that's Sonny.
Right, and also I thought about rewatching The Godfather 1 and 2. So.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
And there's some stuff on my list. We might talk about that next week. I want to rewatch Manchester by the Sea. I want to rewatch the Godfather movies, and I want to rewatch Blade Runner
1 and 2 at least. That's what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah. The third one. I mean, I don't hate the third one, but it's not comparable.
It's just not even in the vein, of that movie. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Maybe we need Godfather 4, to tie it all together.
I mean, if Denis Villeneuve makes it, then why not?
So, also, what do you think about Paul Dano's performance, though? Because I felt like this was his coming out party with that movie.
It was.
Even though I saw him in Little Miss Sunshine first, and I liked him in that, but it wasn't like this. This was his like that scene when he's doing the preaching. That was great. I love that scene when
he was 23 at that time. It's crazy.
That's fucking nuts. That's nuts.
I heard that some people said he's kind of overacting. I can see that, but I mean, he's playing this priest, so it makes sense for him.
And by the way, him as the Riddler is so perfect.
That's true.
It's fucking perfect because, like, the last, I don't know, I want to say 5 years of Batman on the comic, it actually looks like him. That's what's really... It, not only just because of his acting is so good that I'm excited about Paul Dano being, attached to it, but it just actually looks like the character on comic. It's weird. So.
Yeah, it's a good choice. So I think that's it for this week. So
I was gonna say, if you got a movie after this, I was like, Jesus, what was better than this?
Nothing really. Like before I rewatched it, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and now it's a 9, right? Yeah. So I think, like, as a film fan, there's no way around Paul Thomas Anderson. Those are movies you have to see once.
I'm very happy I saw this twice in the theater. And it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Well worth it. I remember like when I took my grandma to see it, I was kind of like, man, I wonder if she's going to like this movie. And she walked out and she's like, you know what? That was good. But she loves Daniel Day-Lewis. Like she's loved him since.
He's such an interesting actor because like he disappears for a while and then comes back and does an Oscar-worthy performance, right? So and he only did like 10 movies or something.
Yeah, and I'm not really necessarily a big fan of method acting. I think it's kind of weird and kind of. Yeah. I get it while they're doing it, but it's kind of weird, especially like Jim Carrey weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Daniel Day-Lewis gets a pass with me. Like I don't like whatever he's doing, just let him do his thing because he like I said, the only movie that I thought that he was bad in was Last of the Mohicans, and he's not bad in it. It's just that there are scenes where he clearly is overacting. That's all. And I think he's really good in Lincoln, but Lincoln just wasn't.
Lincoln is not a fun movie.
No, Lincoln just wasn't that. I might watch it again, but I don't.
Me too.
I don't really think that I need to because I feel like my observation is on point from the first time, but maybe I could be proven wrong there on Lincoln. I doubt it though. And I think you might feel the same on Lincoln because it just. I don't know. It was lacking something,
Lewis is very good with his voice. I think he has a very distinct voice. Yeah. And I watched one of those accent reviews on movies. Mm-hmm. And like the voice he does in Lincoln is very impressive. It's very high pitched and weak in a way.
Yeah, some people couldn't get past that. Actually, some people couldn't get
even
past
though
that.
it's really how he talked,
right?
From reports.
Because most people, when they reenact the whole score, and they put that old school drawl in there, and that's not really how he talked. Even though we don't have audio recording of Abraham,
but we have descriptions. And
last I checked, Abraham Lincoln hasn't uploaded in his YouTube channel in quite a while, so we'll never know.
But just for that performance, I think it would be interesting to rewatch that movie, even though I don't remember it as particularly fun. Right. So. Yeah.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah. All right. Then I guess we'll be back next week. Send us some emails. stairwaycinema@gmail.com. And Man, have a nice day.
That. I would love that. Just having a section of reading emails where people are torching us or something. I would love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. If you got to this point of the podcast, please send us some emails. All right. Then I guess. See you next week.
Have a good weekend, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Stairway to Cinema, episode 30. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week for episode 31, and I'll be back streaming later on today. All right, have a good day. Bye.